Hello everyone and welcome to my ban list wishlist video for this KC Cup February 2025 KC Cup. This format is, oh boy. It certainly is. Look, there's no dancing around this point. There are basically only two decks playable at the moment, one of which clicks yellow button in order to accrue a huge advantage over the course of the duel, and the other of which kinda does the same thing. I don't think this format is particularly good or enjoyable, considering how prevalent these top two decks are, and will be no surprise when the top 100 of the KC Cup placing is going to be like 90% of these two decks very specifically. Oh, but Michael, all you do is complain, complaining about Duel Links. Yeah, no shit. Complaining is what you do when stuff doesn't go your way. I complain because I want the game to get better. And just like how I want the top 10% to stop hoarding all the wealth from everyone else, I would like the top 2 decks of this format to stop holding all the playability from every other deck out there. These 2 decks and more need to be addressed, so let's get to it. Hero! All the way back in my how to fix Duel Links video, I suggested a couple of changes for Hero very specifically, which is still the most popular deck on ladder and still winning tournaments despite the addition of another top tier contender. So all of my suggestions still ring true. However, I would also like to have a couple of more nerfs to the skill very specifically, because what the heck is dragonic contact even? You should not be able to get a poly from outside of the planet that just added to your hand every turn like that. You should not be able to send Crosskeeper to the graveyard to activate your skill, so then you can plus when anytime you fusion, which is every time because you get a fusion for free. You should not be able to even get Armed Dragon Thunder, because what the heck is even this skill? Oh, you think this is still too tame? You think this is still not enough for you? Well, bam! How about that? Rainbow Neos limited one so that it conflicts with Super Poly. How about that? I'm not the first person to make these suggestions, and I won't be the last. If this is what is needed to take this deck out of the metagame forever, because I genuinely want it out of the metagame forever, so be it. Salamangreat. It's kind of funny in retrospect how nobody thought that salamangreat would actually be good when the new support was announced. People were like, yeah, sure, this is the deck, but it doesn't beat all the top tier contenders, then no raw means it's bad. And that includes some of y'all too. Some of y'all were in my comment section being like, salamangreat is gonna be PP. And I was saying that salamangreat was gonna be PP too, so this is on me. Anyway, the real reason why salamangreat is so powerful is because of the skill. Who knew? Let's together take a look at the skill like I like to do every time there's a completely bonkers skill that shows its face. First off, you cannot normal or special summon monsters that aren't salamangreat monsters, excluding special summons from the extra deck. Can we stop putting this condition on skills? Can we stop like just letting people do whatever they want with their extra deck? The lyrilusc skill locks you into lyrilusc even from the extra deck. Why do salamangreats and predaplants and so many other decks get a pass? During your opponent's turn, you can only use a link for monsters link material once per turn. This is for Pyrophoenix very specifically, but I'm sure you knew that. Send one card from your hand to the graveyard, then add one salamangreat of fire, the perfect starter, and one salamangreat burning shell, the perfect way to dodge targeted disruption, from outside of your deck to your hand. That's basically you get 2 cards for free. Just by clicking yellow bar and sending a card, you get 2 cards for free. Chances are maybe you sent a salamangreat monster, which also has some graveyard benefits, like a spinny, you just get to revive the spinny. But that's not all. Add 3 copies of 2 salamangreat link monsters with different names from outside of your deck to your extra deck. These are gonna be 3 Bale Links and 3 Sunlight Wolves. What happened to deck building? Why do you just get cards for free nowadays? It's like 6 cards being added to your extra deck just for no reason whatsoever. At least when my Akashi got cards added to their extra deck, it's because the extra deck wasn't big enough to accommodate for like their link monsters and all of their synchros. You're telling me the salamangreat extra deck is too tight? It might actually be. But that's not all. If only your opponent controls a card, you can also take one salamangreat monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or play it in face down defense position, and its battle position can be changed. So on top of everything, you also get a free monster, which going seconds mean that you turn the scale from a +1 to a +2. Look, we get it, it's another super push scale, yada yada, that's another Konami special pushing a skill to its limits so that the deck associated becomes really super playable, incredibly dominating. And this isn't the worst offender out there, but it's still pretty darn powerful and should be addressed. Because this skill means that you're basically always starting with Salamangreat of Fire, which is the ideal card to get in your opening hand, no matter what you do. Even if it locks you into fire, it's not like you were gonna summon access code in this duel. And the last effect also allows you to just play foul from your deck and then flip it and then lock your opponent back row. So your deck is perfectly consistent and gets to prevent your opponent from interacting with you unless they have hand traps, which, I don't know, I don't feel too good about this. What can we do in order to adjust this completely push scale into something more reasonable but still competitive? There's a couple of ideas, one of which would be to just remove the free burning shell. You know, there's no reason when you should get a burning shell, which is when you don't have to put it in your deck and just get it for free, an incredibly powerful card. Also, I think you should have to send a salamangreat card from your hand to the graveyard to trigger the skill, which again pluses you most of the time because salamangreat monsters love the graveyard. But it also means that you can just play the Shenmatrai version of the deck where you play 5 monsters and 25 staples and call it a day. I'm not hating on Shenmatrai, I just don't think this is how the deck should be played. Maybe you should have a minimal number of salamangreat monsters with different names that you should be playing. Ooh, that would be interesting. Remove the power, you get 1 salamangreat monster, add it to your hand or field for free. That's just too much. I think the skill would be still really powerful without this part. And last but not least, I think you should only get 1 of each Balelynx and Wolf added to your extra deck for free. I don't see a reason why you should get 3. You should still have to put the salamangreat cards in your salamangreat deck, if that makes sense. And sure, that means you have to cut down on a Beast Dweller, White Woman jump scare, but if that's the price to pay, I'm okay with it. Lyrilusc! I think that if we take care of the top 2 decks of this format, we also have to address the decks that are immediately going to rise as a result of these top 2 decks being knocked down, which in this case is going to be lyrilusc and predaplants, the former best decks of the previous format. In that regard, there's really one huge issue that I have with lyrilusc, and it's exactly Assemble Nightingale. This is basically the text on this card, isn't it? If you activate this effect and it resolves, you cannot lose the duel this turn. Also, if I was summoned using Beryl Canary and Cobble Sparrow, good luck getting rid of me. To be fair, we've been getting more and more cards to deal with Assemble Nightingale very specifically. Book of Eclipse was released and was kind of an okay-ish counter, and now we're getting Forbidden Droplet, no longer a selection box exclusive, and which completely neuters Assemble Nightingale because you can just chain it to the Assemble Nightingale trying to activate its effect and win the duel instantly. But I don't like when decks have to very specifically draw the out in order to, you know, not lose instantly. This being said, I'm kind of at a loss here as to how to properly balance Lyrilusc. I'm not sure what you could do to Assemble Nightingale outside of banning it very specifically or like changing the context on it for some reason to make it less of an issue for future decks and current decks that don't have an easy way to deal with it. I don't know about this one. Maybe we can just go all back to playing kaijus. Speaking of which, predaplants! Okay, my previous video I also talked about predaplants, and the issue with this skill is that basically you click yellow button and you can kaiju any monster that your opponent controls, which I don't think is particularly cool. So I made these suggestions, and I think they're still fine nowadays. Another solution would just be to ban Hydra, which would allow the deck to play Super Poly or Predaplanet once again, both of which are a bit more interesting, offer a bit more counterplay, because you can search Super Poly by clicking yellow button, like some other decks. So you have to rely on Darlingtonia Cobra, searching it, which can be veiled, can be taken care of in several ways. And then if you want to place a Predaplant counter, you have to rely on Dragostepelia or Spinodionea, which can also be interacted with. Basically, that would be the one Super Poly deck that actually interacts with you. I still think Super Poly should not exist there. Other stuff. Just like I mentioned previously, get rid of Imitation. Having a super consistent FTK is no fun for anyone. I also think you should rework Pendulum Rebellion to include Pen Magician, Odd Eyes, Performa Pal, and or PK monsters. These are both suggestions from my previous How to Fix Duel Links video. Here's some new suggestions. A Lord like Varia is proven to be a very problematic card. That's not even the correct card text showing, but this card prevents your monster from being destroyed by battle and you take no damage this turn. This card is being used in both current top decks in order to survive from assaults from the other top deck, which is incredibly funny but also incredibly toxic because it just removes any sense of weight that the battle phase actually has. It's just like, oh, I spent my entire turn trying to assemble an OTK board, and I can't OTK. Well, I better hope that I drew this card right back, or I'm gonna lose. Put it to limit 1 or forbid it, just simply get rid of it. I don't think Rainbow Life is nearly as problematic, because at least with Rainbow Life you can destroy the stuff that your opponent summons and stuff. Editing Mechlord here. I thought about it, and you know what? You should ban or limit 1 Rainbow Life as well, because none of these cards are like healthy for the Duel Links format. And even though I think Rainbow Life is still less problematic than Allowed Life Barrier, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Buff and stuff. Power to Brave a Dragon, I don't think needs to be limited 1. I think you open the way for several decks, including Morphtronics and Infernobles, to have more interesting plays if you push this card out of the limited 1 section, so that you can play it alongside Herald of the Arclight or Gravity Arc's Growl. But this card is too cool to not see consistent competitive play in my opinion. Railway Rampage struck me as a kind of weak kind of skill, so what if we make it so it wasn't value neutral? You know, you don't have to shuffle a card back if you go first. That's just silly, because you're gonna have to discard a card for Revolving Switchyard anyway. And also, if you're so concerned about the OTK that is very doable with double Gustav Max and Book of Eclipse, maybe remove the change monsters to attack part of the skill, which is a little bit silly. And it's not like anyone was going to flip these on summon anyway, because you would just wait for the battle phase in most cases. So just remove this part. Baryon Battlemorph Shooting Starfist. Hey look, another skill that came with the latest mini box, which introduced support for a mediocre deck. I think you should just be able to activate the second part of the skill regardless of the battling box monster exes that you summon. Look, I get that the skill wants you to make Star Sisters so you can then rank up into General Kaiser and have its effect and stuff, but that's just too predictable a line of play. You should have more flexibility. You should be able to summon Lead Yoke Pass just like in the good old days. Also, I don't think Battling Boxer Chief needs to be limited to. I get why Konami wants to hit every single card that can slow down the battle phase to limit 2, so that they don't get abused in generic decks, but Battling Boxer Chief 2nd literally requires you to control a warrior or fire monster. So what, are we scared that salamangreat is going to be playing it? They can't even summon it with the skill, it's fine. And last but not least, there's probably a bunch of cards that you can take off of the forbidden and limited list altogether. You know, the big ones are the ones that I think might actually have an impact on the metagame. Oh no, 3 internal Hyperdome layers means that Star Ceros can make Cyber Dragon Infinity. Yeah, who cares? What are Martyr Spectres gonna do with 3 copies of Tornado? Oh no, I just snuck Void Banishment in here because I can't let go of Infernoise. And the small one on the right here are cards that I think are gonna have no impact whatsoever, but Konami is deeply scared of these cards for some reason anyway. Alright, that's it. That's my 2 cents. Am I right? Am I wrong? Who knows? Will the Konami designers agree with me? These are 2 completely different questions. Well, we'll see. Thank you for watching the video. That's the end of it. I appreciate you watching it to the end there. If you like the video, make sure to like it and comment something that you think is true or wrong about this ban list wish list of mine. What cards would you like to get here or not? And also subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to support me further, you can check my Ko-fi in the video description. Here you can make a one-time donation or a monthly pledge. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my Ko-fi donators: Dingo Stardish Boy 0, Jimmy, Zinnia, Yannick, Seal, Mark Lu, Fortuner 16, the Abisacta Guru, Orc Price / the Duel Links Library, and Exorcist. Thank you all for the support, I really appreciate it. And that's it, isn't it? See you in March when this KC Cup is over, and the ban list has been revealed and we're all thoroughly disappointed. Oh boy, I'll get to complain some more. Thank you for watching once again everyone, take care, and I will see you all next time.